ESPN Sports Radio 1300, welcoming you to the Lexington Legends Inside Scoop, keeping you updated on the news and happenings of your Lexington Legends. We'll talk to the players, coaches, and personalities that make the Lexington Legends one of the premier minor league teams in the country. This is the Lexington Legends Inside Scoop. And now, the man who calls the action, play-by-play voice of the Lexington Legends, Keith Elkins.
Let's play ball!
Nick Maronde is with us on the Inside Scoop. It's been a big year for him. The former Lexington Catholic star who pitched in college at the University of Florida made his major league debut with the Los Angeles Angels last September. And first of all, Nick, congratulations on that, and thanks for being with us today.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate all the support back home, and looking forward to it again this year.
Well, of course, it was a big year. Often a college player will move up the minor league ladder fairly quickly, and you were a third-round draft choice. But your trip through the minor leagues was really fast. After the 5-0 with, I believe it was Orem in the Pioneer League in 2011, you moved on to Advanced A, and then a brief stop in the Arizona League last year after some time on the DL, and then back to Double-A, and then to the big leagues, all inside one season. And even for somebody who pitched at a program like Florida, that's still pretty fast. Did it seem that way to you as you were moving up?
I mean, yeah, it seemed fast. Especially after I got hurt, I kind of thought that chance was to move up was not going to be as a great a chance, but came back healthy, was throwing well. Some spots opened up. They needed a lefty reliever, so everything kind of happened at the right time for me. I was in the right place at the right time, so I was very fortunate with that.
Tell us a little bit about the injury. A brief setback there in a year that ended up with you in the major leagues, but there a little setback in the middle of the year, right?
Yeah. After the first month of the season, I developed a lat strain, and then I missed 2 months. Came back in July, so I played April, missed May, June, all of May and all of June, and then came back the first, 10 days into, I think July 10th was my first day back. So, I came back strong. They took extra time with me to make sure I was healthy. Pitched, like you said, in the Arizona Rookie League, just hands on there, their training, rehab facilities, everything checked out, and I got to go back to High A and then got promoted to Double-A when we traded for Zach Greinke.
You were a two-time Pitcher of the Week in the California League, and then also got a Texas League Pitcher of the Week award during your time with Arkansas in Double-A. I wanted to ask you about your California League experience. The guys who leave the Legends, at least in past years when we were with Houston, would go on to Lancaster in that league, and the Lancaster stop is known as particularly unfriendly to pitchers. But what about the rest of the League? Did you find it tough conditions in which to pitch?
Obviously some places are worse than others. Lancaster is extremely windy. It always seems like it's blowing out at 30 miles an hour. But I think the Cal League's known as a hitter's league. This year it didn't. I don't think there was as much wind, so I thought it played pretty fair, especially our home field. It seemed like there was fewer home runs hit there than any other stadium. So I enjoyed it. It was a great experience to be out there. Played some good quality guys. But yeah, I remember Lancaster, and I remember the Mariners' place being the windiest by far.
Talking with Nick Maronde of the Los Angeles Angels, former Lexington Catholic and University of Florida star, who made his big league debut in September of 2012. And we mentioned those Pitcher of the Week awards in two different leagues, and had 7 no-hit innings in one of the games for Inland Empire, the team that you pitched for in the California League. Was that just one of those nights when everything was working? What do you remember about that night?
Yeah, everything was working. We were up in Stockton playing the A's. Throwing the ball well inside that night. My defense, the guys behind me, made tons and tons of plays, so it's really a testament to them. I was just trying to throw strikes, I always try not to walk guys, try to throw strikes, let them put the ball in play. I always trust my defense, but some of the outfielders made some outstanding catches out there. Travis Witherspoon dove for a couple balls. As a whole, it was a team effort right there. It wasn't just me.
Well, everything led to the call-up, and you made your Major League debut on September 2nd with the Angels. And, of course, the Angels obviously a contending team and one with a roster full of stars. It's even more crowded with star players now, it seems, with the addition of Josh Hamilton in here in the offseason. But tell me about the whole set of circumstances surrounding the debut. I like to ask guys who have been in the big leagues, whether it was a long time ago or just this year, as to what that experience was like to actually get the call. You were part of the September call-up, so maybe not as much unexpected at that time. But tell me about it, the circumstances of receiving the call and making the trip and joining the big league club.
It was still unexpected, like I said, with the injury and everything, and being my first full year. I was a starter. I hadn't really been in relief, so I wasn't expecting a call at all. But I got called in my AA manager's office. And he told me, and I didn't really believe him. I was kind of like, what? I walked out of there and kind of sat in my locker. And it didn't really hit me until probably 15, 20 minutes later. But I called my parents. They were asleep. They were back here in Lexington. Called them. I think it was about 1 in the morning, their time, and I don't think my dad answered the phone, and I don't think he was excited to hear from me that late. I don't think he thought it was a good thing. And then he was half asleep, so when I told him, it didn't register for him right away either. But it was a dream come true to get the call, and then the whole way there, sitting on the airplane, going out there. I met them in Seattle. I just couldn't wait to get to the stadium, meet all the guys, and put on my uniform for the first time.
Then when you first got in the ball game, as I look at the numbers here, 3 pitches and 3 strikes in the debut. Is that right?
Oh yes, sir. No, that was fun. I think that was the fastest I ever got loose. I think I threw two pitches and told the bullpen coach I was ready. The adrenaline was pumping, and I just got there and I tried to throw strikes, and luckily I did. I couldn't really feel the ball the first pitch or two.
Talking with Nick Maronde, a left-hander from Lexington Catholic, and pitched in college at the University of Florida and made his major league debut with the Los Angeles Angels last September, a very successful debut. And in watching some video of you pitching with the Angels, and tell me if this is typical of your success, but left-handed hitters, if things are going well, that ball is going to be low and away to them. You seem to be able to hit that outside part of the plate, or maybe even off the plate if you can get the guy to go after it. Is that a key part of your success? Yeah,
I think the key part of my success is being able to command the fastball, throw it inside the lefties and away. That's in order to set him up for the slider. I try to do that. I pride myself on that, but really the big key is just trusting the defense and throwing strikes. I mean, if you get ahead of guys, that puts the pressure on the hitter. That's when you get the chase pitches. I mean, you get ahead 1-2, 0-2. It's a lot better than pitching behind in the count. So I try to stay ahead in all counts.
And you've done that with a lot of success. A lot of guys throw the ball with the left arm, sometimes have a little trouble with the control, but you've always been a pretty consistent guy who can hit the corners and pitch in the strike zone, and in fact to the right part of the strike zone, which is always a key. But that's always been kind of part of your game, hasn't it? The good control.
Yeah, that's in high school and in college. I kind of lost it my sophomore year. That was the first time I'd really struggled with the strike zone, and it kind of taught me to step back and kind of slow the game down. I try to step off the rubber, take a deep breath, kind of slow the game down. I try not to be so anxious out there, and I think that's helped a lot with my control and being able to put the ball where I want to put it.
Talking with Nick Maronde of the Los Angeles Angels, and a product of Lexington Catholic High School. You were drafted in the 43rd round by Oakland out of high school in 2008, but after 3 years at Florida and a lot of success in that program, a third-round pick by the Angels, and now have reached the big league. So clearly college was the right decision for you, but tell me about the process at that time to decide to pass on the chance to turn pro at that time and go ahead and start your college career at Florida.
That was something my parents and I talked about. They told me they wanted me to go to school. I have a great relationship with my parents. By them telling me that, we came to a family decision how to go to school. So that made it easier as far as the draft. But I just wanted to go out my senior year to know that I did my best and put myself in a good position, and then let the teams decide from there. But ultimately, I wanted to go to school. I learned a lot. I grew up. I matured a lot. learned a lot about the game of baseball that I didn't know. So I think that helped me in my career by going there. There's plenty of other guys that have gone straight out of high school that have done amazing. I mean, Robbie Ross, he's the same. He went to Lexington Christian, same year as me. He signed out of high school and pitched all year with the Rangers this year, and was supposed to be in Rookie of the Year. So I don't think there's a right and wrong way. It just what I did worked for me, and what Robbie did I think works for him as well.
There are a lot of guys now around from the Lexington area or associated with UK who are playing in the professional ranks, and a lot of times I know you all will get together in the off season and do your workouts together. Is that something that you'd like to do as well?
Yes, I've been working out with Robbie Ross and Wes Wilson. We've been throwing. Jason Langfells, Patrick Brady, Chris Wade. We all go up to Champions Sports Complex. We all do our running, throwing up there. Kind of keeps everybody on schedule. Make sure everyone's doing it. I mean, it keeps everybody working out, and it's fun. It never gets monotonous. Scott Downs, he plays for the Angels. He's went to UK. He lives in Lexington, so he's been a good guy to talk to as far as what to do to get ready for spring training. He took me under his wing when I was up in LA last year, so that relationship with him has helped me a lot as well.
It's also kind of a reminder that there are a lot of good ball players around here, aren't there? I mean, guys that have now reached the professional ranks.
Oh, there's tons of good ball players around Lexington. Kentucky as well. PRP had Zach Osborne and Zach Cox. Those guys are doing well. Around Lexington, Colin Cowgill, Robbie Ross, Austin Kern, Scott Downs. I mean, there's really good baseball here. And Chaz Rowe, I mean, I remember watching. He was a couple of years older than me when I first went to high school, watching him pitch. I mean, there's a lot of talent in the Lexington area, Kentucky area.
Nick, I like to ask the guys who have come up through the ranks here in Lexington, who are some of the coaches that you would now express your thanks to as far as helping you build your baseball career and helping you get to the level where you are now?
Rodney Martin, head coach at Lexington, was my head coach at Lexington Catholic, helped me tremendously. And then Brad Redmond, he was a pitching coach over there. He's a left-handed pitcher. I moved back to Lexington the summer before high school started, so I got to play with him for 5 years. 5 years, and he taught me everything it is to be a competitor. So I owe him more than he even knows.
And of course, you mentioned the support of family is always important too.
Oh, the family's been great. My parents always supported me. They drove me to the tournaments. Was never really pressured to play or anything like that. They kind of just, I mean, I enjoyed doing it. They took me. I mean, they drove countless hours to tournaments. Spent I don't even know how much money, but I mean, they supported me to the very end and still do this today. So it's fun to come home. It's fun to talk to them. It's fun to see them excited about it still.
The spring training is drawing near. It always presents a set of challenges to a young guy establishing himself. But on the other hand, you'll never have to be there as a guy who does not have major league experience again. You've gotten in a few weeks in the big leagues, and that has to be really big as you start into this season. No,
I think it'll help going into spring training, knowing most of the guys in the locker room. I'll still be a rookie. I'll still have to do all the chores, but to know those guys already have some familiarity with them and the coaching staff, I think will be a huge plus, huge help.
Well, you've got a lot of support back here in Lexington, as we've talked about, and we certainly wish you the best for 2013 and beyond.
No, thank you very much. I enjoyed talking to you.
All right, Nick Maronde of the Los Angeles Angels and former Lexington Catholic star has been with us on Inside Scoop. We'll be right back. Doug Flynn is with us on Inside Scoop, the former Major League infielder from Lexington, of course, and now working with the Cincinnati Reds, doing some broadcasting work for the Reds, and for the past several years has been helping to run their fantasy camp out in Arizona, and that's about this time of the year. In fact, Doug is just back from Arizona and what was apparently a very successful fantasy camp. Doug, you were sold out well in advance. That thing is really going strong now, it seems like.
Keith, it's unbelievable. They sold out in September, had 104 guys sign up. They probably had a waiting list of over 30. So, it's gone very well, and you can attribute that to, I think, the Reds have taken it in-house. They do plenty of broadcasting. If you're watching a rainout, they will publicize it. Marty mentions it every day on the radio. It's mentioned on TV every single night, and I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why everybody now wants to go, and they're on Facebook, the campers do, and we've been reading them from the last week. And there were 46 new guys. We had 60 that were returners, and just about every one of the new guys say that they're going to come back next year. So it's really a nice deal, and I've yet to hear anybody say it wasn't worth the money.
It's, of course, got a good presence on the Reds website, the Reds Fantasy Camp. We're talking with Doug Flynn on Inside Scoop about that, and I think the average age, it says, about 47 years, but there's a wide range of people. You almost can't be too old, I guess, for fantasy camp, as long as you can still fantasize, right?
That's exactly right. I think our youngest was a little over 30, and our oldest, we had 2 that were 74.
Wow.
And they played every day.
And they've
amazing. I don't know how they do it, because I know guys that's getting paid to play that wouldn't go out there with some of the injuries these guys had. Well,
you figure these 74-year-old guys have waited a long time to get out there on that field with the big leaguers, and now they've made it. So it sounds like they're having an awful lot of fun with it, and you get a lot of participation from former players too. I know they can't always know exactly who's going to be there until just a short time before, but safe to say it's a wide range there too of former Reds, big leaguers who are attending and helping out with the fantasy camp.
Yeah, and we had a really good group this year. Some of the mainstays are Tom Browning, Ken Griffey, Jack Billingham, Jim Maloney. This year we had Ronnie Oster, who hadn't been there in a while. Dimitri Young was there, who had never done one before, as well as Bobby Wine, who really didn't play for the Reds, but he helps me with the Kangaroo Court. Teddy Powers there, Tommy Hume, Joe Price. It's just an outstanding list of players and guys that Billy Hatcher is there. They take a lot of time with these campers to make it the best week of their life. And I tell you, Keith, I laugh more at that 1 week of fantasy camp than I probably do the whole year.
Well, it is great fun, and of course, a lot of the clubs are doing it now, and the Reds Fantasy Camp appears to be going very well. And we talked a little bit about your role, but tell us a little bit about that, about how you're involved and how you've taken a bit of a leadership role in that fantasy camp.
You know, I've been doing this since 1987. I was a part owner at one point in time, and then it got to be too expensive to run because the club started wanting a lot more money to basically do nothing. And so now it has evolved into where most of the clubs have taken them in-house. And it's been a good thing because they can have so many perks that we really couldn't do as individual owners. But the Reds, since Mr. Castellini have been there, have started to involve me in a lot of different things, broadcasting, emceeing banquets, emceeing things like the Johnny Bench statue. I got to do that evening, which was a lot of fun. And ever since I've been doing these camps, I've sort of been coordinating a lot of the stuff that go on the field, and through the help of Stephanie Ben, who works for the Reds, we sort of formulated our ideas how we think it should run the best. So I do all the announcements, I do the Kangaroo Court, I run all the banquets, and my job is just to try to make it run as smoothly and professionally as possible. And, you know, I get plenty of help from a lot of people, but it's been a lot of fun. People say, well, man, what a great vacation. I went, yeah, if you like getting up at 6 and getting home at 5 and then going to another 6 o'clock function, and then after that's over at 7, you go have dinner and you're ready to shut her down. So, but I tell you what, it's been a blast. I hope they'll continue to use me, and we'll maybe get some more young kids to come out there, former players. I don't know if they will, but it's a thrill for us older guys that get a chance to get to do it.
You mentioned the term Kangaroo Court a couple of times. For the fans who might not be familiar with that particular brand of baseball law enforcement, tell us how that works.
I think you put that very well, Keith. Well, what we do as pros, we'll start watching these guys play, and if they make any blunders, and the pros as well, are susceptible to fines. But if they, we'll start them out very simply. If they miss a belt loop, or if they wear their wedding ring on the field or a watch, or go to a wrong dugout, go to the plate without a helmet, and it will vary from that to other things that we start inventing just to get them involved in the Kangaroo Court. I think we raised over $2,000 this year for one of our charities. And actually, one year that Joe Nuxall passed away, we wanted to raise money for the Joe Nuxall Foundation. And although these guys had paid $4,200 to come, we raised an additional $42,000 to go to the Joe Nuxall Foundation just because of the respect and love for Joe. But it's just a night where it got started on the road with big league teams. to break up the monotony, they would start finding each other for missing signs or things they did out in public, and all the money would usually go to a party at the end of the year. We give all of ours to charity.
We mentioned some of the older fans that attend the fantasy camp, and their memories of Reds baseball might go back to the 50s or 60s even. But I would think that interest in the fantasy camp certainly can't be hurt by the fact that the current Reds are contenders once again and have a lot of young stars on the team, and a great following is coming to the ballpark again. They've always had a great following, but now the people are in the seats again, and the interest is really up. We can always tell that around Lexington when the Reds are good, and I would think that has to carry over a little bit to fantasy camp interest too, doesn't it?
It does, Keith. There's a great correlation between what kind of season the team has to the number of people interested in coming to the camp. And certainly this year, as the Reds played better and better, people started signing up, and every now and then you'll get one of the players to come out there, and their new player, I guess from Cleveland, was out there rehabbing this whole week, and so guys got a chance to see him firsthand. He was taking extra batting practice and getting into the Reds uniform. And he even told everybody, he says, I looked in the mirror and I actually look really good in red. So it was good. But you're absolutely right. If the club plays well, it seems like all the camps happen to do better. And so certainly as someone who enjoys doing it, we want our team to do as well as they possibly can. And they've been close to the last 3 years. Now we got to just get them to take it a step further.
Very close this last time around for sure. We're talking with Doug Flynn from Lexington, former Major League infielder, Gold Glove Award winner with the New York Mets back in 1980, and of course broke in with the Big Red Machine teams back in 75 and 76, and now associated with the Reds, as you said, Doug, in various roles, including the fantasy camp and some broadcasting as well. But with the turnaround by the Giants in that playoff series, a disappointing end of the season. But on the other hand, things are on the upswing, and there's, I would think, plenty of reason to be optimistic for Reds fans and those associated with the team as you head into 2013. A lot of excitement around it.
Well, there is, Keith. I think right now, if you look at their lineup, there's not going to be a lot of changes except Drew Stubbs has gone to Cleveland, and they're getting a very good ball player. I watched him play last year. He's got a good arm. He hit very well against the Reds, so hopefully he'll continue that. But Todd Frazier looks like will be the third baseman, and the rest of the outfield and infield is going to be set. They'll platoon Heisey, I guess, in left field with Ludwig, Jay Bruce, Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, Zach Cozart, and they'll platoon Devin Mesoraco and Ryan Hannigan at the plate. What was really, I think, that made everybody get so excited is that the way Homer Bailey and Matt Latos finished the season. Now, if you bring Chapman in as a starter and you put Broxton in the bullpen, then this should be a very, very good ball club, and the pitching's going to be strong. Hopefully they'll get a little more offense. Last year, they really had a tendency not to hit well with runners in scoring position, and I'm hoping that's something that maturity will bring to this ball club.
Doug, I want to shift gears a little bit and ask you about the ball players at our level here, Class A in the South Atlantic League. Last couple of years, Delino DeShields Jr. was the second baseman for the Legends, and he was making a position change from the outfield in high school and coming into this league at age 18 and trying to learn to play second base, and he took great strides in his repeat year here in Lexington. But whether it's Delino or anybody else that might be making a position change or might be playing that first full season of professional baseball, tell me about the difficulty of playing those middle infield positions, because there's so much to learn. The competition is better. The ball's coming at you a little faster than it did in high school or maybe even in college, and there's just a lot of things going on out there. What are some of the challenges for these young players?
Well, you've always heard the old saying of be strong up the middle, and certainly that means includes second base and shortstop. And for someone who is not used to playing those positions, footwork is very important in positioning on how to get to a ball. A lot of these kids have very strong arms. They want to rely on that instead of using their footwork to help them get into proper throwing positions where they can save that arm and even have a stronger arm. I know even after I won a Gold Glove in 80, Chuck Cottier was one of my coaches, and he called me over and he says, "Doug, do you mind if I say something to you?" And I went, "Well, Chuck, you know better than that. Tell me if you see something I'm doing." He said, "Well, you're starting to rely too much on your arm, turning a double play instead of using your feet." And he said, "You need to start using your feet more to get them in the air for a couple of reasons. One, you're going to get more on your throw. Two, if anybody slides and hits you, you're not going to have any leg injuries. And I think the footwork is vitally important for kids that are not used to playing at a speed that really, really is nothing that they could even simulate from high school. However, college now, especially in the Southeastern Conference, we're seeing an awful lot of not only good teams, but some really good players come out of there. They're getting excellent coaching, and they're preparing them very well for Major League and minor league baseball. But I think footwork for any middle infielder is probably the toughest thing. Once you get that down and your feet are good, then your arm's going to follow.
Been talking with Doug Flynn on Inside Scoop, and Doug, again, congratulations on all the success with the Reds Fantasy Camp, and I'm hoping more broadcasting assignments for you this year as well. Is that on the calendar as yet?
Yeah, the rumor has it. I'm going back out the last of this month. They start the games on the 22nd, so I don't know if I'm going to do any broadcasting then or not. I've been told that I will be doing a lot more games. As of right now, I haven't heard when or if. There's just some rumors going around. Mr. Castellini, I saw him at Reds Fest, and he said, "Are you excited about doing more games this year?" And I said, "Yes, sir," as if I knew what I was talking about. So I really don't know. It's fun to do. I love working up there. Keeps me in the game a little bit. And that's something that, once you get out, it's tough to get back in. But the Castellini family's done a wonderful job of including the former player, and I'm very grateful for those opportunities.
Well, congratulations on that as well. And again, thanks for the time today, and good luck in 2013.
All right, buddy. You too. Thank you, Keith.
And that was Doug Flynn, former Major League infielder, native of Lexington, and now working with the Cincinnati Reds, one of his former teams, on the Reds Fantasy Camp. And also look forward to hearing Doug on the radio broadcasts again this year for the Cincinnati Reds. That'll do it for this edition of Legends Inside Scoop. Thanks very much for joining us. Again, the Legends home opener, just 69 days away. The Legends open the home season April 8th against the Asheville Tourists. And don't forget about those National Anthem tryouts coming up February 9th and 10th in the wing of Fayette Mall near Dick's Sporting Goods. For more information or game tickets, rather season tickets anyway, individual game tickets will be on sale a little bit later, but the season ticket information is available at LexingtonLegends.com, as is information on those National Anthem tryouts. And watch for Legends Caravan events. Information coming up soon as well. We'll get that out in the next couple of days, and you can look for it on the Legends website, LexingtonLegends.com. Our thanks to our guests tonight, Los Angeles Angels left-hander Nick Maronde and former Major League infielder Doug Flynn on Inside Scoop. Also thanks to producer Jake Davis. I'm Keith Elkins, inviting you to join us again next week for the Legends Inside Scoop.
You've been listening to the Lexington Legends Inside Scoop, an in-depth look at your Lexington Legends on ESPN Sports Radio 1300, WLXG AM Lexington. Tune in next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock for more inside information on the Lexington Legends with Keith Elkins. We now return you to our regularly scheduled ESPN Sports Radio 1300 programming.